Hello, and welcome to Cosmos and Commerce. Sip, savor, and succeed where business meets fun. I'm Janice with the Humble Crate Artisan Marketplace and Remax Connection, and I'm here with my co-host,
Michelle Cook with Body Ache Escape Massage Center.
and we are real excited to introduce you to our next guest, Lillie Williams with J-Dog Hauling and Rags to Riches. Lillie, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. I'm so excited to meet you guys. I don't have a drink. Next time I will. I definitely will.
We're got that covered for you. Lillie, can you tell us a little bit about your background? What inspired you to start the J Dog hauling business and eventually your resale shop, Rags to Riches?
Absolutely. So I actually went to training and it's called Boost to Business. And Boost to Business is a organization that helps veterans who are transitioning from the military to start their own business. So I was deployed to Africa and I was actually injured and I was sent to Walter Reed for a year for a traumatic brain injury. And while I was there, they were like, hey, your job is to just get better. You don't have to go to work. You don't have to do anything. So they said, these are some options that you have. You can go to training. And I said, I've always wanted to join the Boost to Business and get started on a business plan. And while I was doing that 12-week training, they introduced me to J-Dog. They said, hey, here's a company that's local that is looking for veterans. It's a veteran established franchise and you can only be a part of it if you are a veteran. And I said, oh, I will look into it. So when I left Walter Reed, my husband and I, we decided, you know what, let's go to their Discovery Day, which was a 2-day event up in PA. They flew us out there and we went out, spent 2 days with them, and we were completely sold on their concept of business is supporting veterans. And our primary goal is to lower the unemployment rate for veterans. So that was a complete sale for us. It's getting veterans new jobs or helping them become entrepreneurs. So we were definitely in. We started out in September 2021 and we opened up our doors. And after that, we started accumulating lots of stuff. We had multiple storage units. We're like, what are we going to do with all this stuff outside of donating? So we did team up with Goodwill. We teamed up with the Veteran Volunteers of America, which actually rehomes items for veterans who have either been homeless or they're in a situation where they're just getting an apartment. And so we would take out dishes and pictures and furniture, and we would actually set up an apartment for them for veterans who are struggling. So just to give them a sense of peace
I
and
love
a
that.
new beginning. And so we started doing that. But at the same time, we're still doing these jobs. We're still accumulating all of this stuff. And so one of my friends, she said, why don't you have some wholesalers? Maybe if you reach out to some wholesalers, maybe you'll be able to help sell some of this stuff and get onto some of these websites to do it. We started doing that, but we were still accumulating a lot of stuff. So I'd reached out to a couple of organizations to say, hey, do you guys know of any warehouses or storefronts, things like that? What can we do with all this stuff? If we can't donate it, give it away, let's try to resell it. At least we could take some of the funding, like we donate to the Lions Club, we donate to veterans, we actually create care packages and things like that and send it overseas. So we started packing up all this stuff. Still wasn't moving as fast as we wanted to. And then I came upon a location out in Pickerington, which is where we started at the Cultivate. And we saw a location out there. We inquired about it. We finally procured it after a year. And so we said, what could we do as far as our name? What could we do that would be something that would be fun, but it will also bring in customers? And my daughter, she's like, Rags to Riches. And I said, why Rags to Riches? And she said, because we have old things, we have new things, so our rags are their riches. And I said, you know what? That's a great concept. And so that's how Rags to Riches started. We opened up our doors, Rags to Riches, on March 9th, which is my birthday. And we've been running ever since.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah,
It was a shop
very
hop.
good. Yes, I remember you were scrambling to get open on time and get it together.
That's awesome. You mentioned you joined Boost to Business. Can you tell me more about that program?
Yeah, so Boost to Business is a transition program. It's through Mississippi State University. what they do is they actually have a 12-week program which helps you develop business plans. It helps you look into the market, the Department of Labor, for marketing, for everything that you would need to establish a business plan and to get you started. I had to go through that 12-week course to get certified. And once you're certified, they actually submit that paperwork and help you register for SAMs and DUNS numbers and get you registered with the state and get you all the process that you need to start your business. They help you. They make you work through every aspect of it, sitting down and writing the business plan, every part, summaries, everything. So it's a great program. I think they run it I think one class starts every month with Boost the Business, but it's definitely a great program. I'm appreciative that I was able to go through it, and it's free for veterans.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
I love that.
You told us a little bit about how you came up with the name Rags to Riches, but can you tell us why J Dog is a franchise, right?
Yes, so J Dog, Jerry Flanagan, and Tracy Flanagan, they actually started out with the first J Dog, and he was transitioning from the military. He couldn't find a job. Him and his family ended up filing for bankruptcy, and he started with a Jeep like Wrangler, like towing. He put a little tow thing on the back, and he started hauling furniture for people. And eventually, he met up with an investor who had a shop down, who always see him coming through the neighborhoods. And the investor was like, hey, have you ever thought about franchising this particular business? And so they sat down and they came up with the concept of doing something for veterans, because there's no real veteran exclusive franchises. And so I think that was the premise of this one, is to be able to allow veterans to not spend astronomical prices to be franchise owners, and to be able to help them to be inclusive with other veterans who are looking to either start a business and or just need some work. Because we have a group think, and it's a family thing with the military. There are concepts and there are strategies that we use in the military to gain our business success. And so utilizing veterans who can think, I can tell someone to execute a mission, quasi, and they would know exactly what I mean. As opposed to the civilian sector, we think totally different about civilian jobs than we do in the military. Military is, if you don't complete the mission, it could cost you your life. So when you bring that to a franchise or to a business, and you have like-minded people, they're like, she must be serious about it if she's telling us to execute. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's interesting. Very.
Yeah, my husband is military, so I understand only a tiny bit what you're saying. Was the military your very first job, or did you have a job before that? What was your first job?
My first job was actually with the American Red Cross. I was actually a secretary with the American Red Cross at 18. And I joined the military
Oh,
when I turned 23.
Okay,
You know,
nice.
it's
What made
the
you join the
funniest thing I always tell
military?
people is that I saw the Be All You Could Be commercials growing up. And I always told my dad, it's like, hey, I want to be in the military. I want to be all that I could be. And
Yeah.
he would always laugh. And when I was 23, I was married with 3 kids. And I was like, I just happened to be sitting at the television one day and I saw the commercial. I was like, you know what? I bet I can still do that. I'm not, that old. I can still do it. And I went down to meet with the recruiter, and initially he laughed. He was like, wait, you're married and you want to go in the military? I'm like, yeah, I'm just going reserve. It'll be something fun. I can get a GI Bill. Those goals, like, I have 3 kids. I need to go back to school. And that was the option at that time. It was like, go to the military, do a tour, and then get out and go to college. That was the plan. And then after my first contract was up, we always call it they dangled the magic carrot, and they were like, hey, we'll give you 20 grand if you stay another 6 years. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm staying another 20 years. And then after I did that, I was in
yep,
10
Oh,
years, and they were like,
yep.
if you're in 10 years, you might as well stay the whole 20. And it was like, eh. So I stayed another, yeah, they gave me another 20 grand. And I was excited about that. And then after that, I was at 15 years, and they were like, I'd gone to college while I was in the military during my deployments and things like that. And so I decided, I said, I'm going to apply. Actually, it's a crazy story. I was sitting in my office. I was hired on as a government employee, and I was sitting in my office, and this gentleman comes into the office, and he sits down and he puts his bare feet up on my desk. And as opposed to flipping out on, exactly. So that's what I said. I was
Ew.
like, head, I'm going,
Ew.
he must have lost his dang on mind. He just sat his feet. Internally, I'm going, he must be crazy. So he sits there and he asked me, what do I do? And I told him, I gave him like a rundown of what I did. Never met this gentleman before. What do you do? And I told him what I do at the office, and that I work with the soldiers and I help them get processed into the military, get their pay, things like that. And he's like, oh, okay. So we had a conversation for about 40 minutes and he leaves. The next day was our military drill weekend, and my NCO comes into the office and he's, hey, Sergeant Harrington. He said, the new colonel wants to meet you. And I'm like, why does he want to meet me? What did I do? Yeah, so I'm thinking I'm in trouble. I'm like, what did I do? I've never met the guy. I don't know him. This is his first day. I walk in, it's the guy who had his feet up on my desk. Was my new colonel. That was the colonel. And
That
I
was
did
the
not know.
colonel.
He never told me.
Oh my
He
gosh.
was definitely tested.
Was he
But
testing you?
I guess this was a test that I passed. Yes.
He was
Came in.
testing you.
I said it was a crazy
Yes.
story because he came in
Yes.
and he said, I walked in his office and I jumped and I'm like, oh, I didn't know that was you yesterday, sir. I would have introduced myself properly. He's, oh no, I wanted to see you in true form. I've heard a lot of things about you. And I said, okay. He said, so I want you to have a seat. And I said, am I in trouble? He's, no. He said, you are up for E7 for a promotion. And he was like, but he's also reviewed your
Promotion.
records.
Yep.
And so he said, I have two things here. He said, I have a packet for promotion to E7, or you could become an officer in the military. And I reviewed your records last night and see that you have your bachelor's degree already, which is one of the qualifications. He said, you have all your schools and everything. I would like you to be an officer in our unit. And you have 30 days because the boards are both at the same time. You have 30 days to make a decision. So I went home that night and I sat and I called one of my friends who was a senior NCO, and she's, listen, if you're going to deal with the BS, you might as well get the money to go with it. Just go for it. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm scared. I'm terrified. I don't know what to do. And so the next day I came in and did you make a decision? I'd made it in 24 hours. I said, yep. I said, I'll do the officer packet. So I went from an E6 staff sergeant one day,
Ooh.
and I went to a panel board of 6 officers, all males and 1 female. And out of 14 people that went before the board, I was the only female selected, and I was in the top 3 that was selected. And at the end, I asked the question, I said, out of all the people that you guys have interviewed, why did you pick me? They said, because you're the only one who challenged everything that we said and asked questions. Everyone else. So a month later, I went from
That's
captain to Lieutenant Arrington, an officer in the military, and my career from there just went forward. I went and got my master's. I graduated from my officer's course. The day before I graduated my officer's course, I graduated with a master's degree. And then a year and a half later, I graduated with my doctorate. I was just running. I was like, no one's going to stop me. No one's going to stop me. Because I always tell people.
So you
I
retired.
did. I
Lillie,
retired
you retired.
as a major. Yep. The scariest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
Wow.
After
Congratulations.
21 years.
Such an accomplishment.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Thank
I
you so
appreciate
much
it.
for your service.
Wow.
So, Lillie, starting your businesses, it comes with so many challenges. What are some of the hurdles that you have faced, and how did you overcome them?
Finding employees, and I think that's the biggest thing that's happening right now, is because everyone wants to work remote. And so it was really difficult finding employees initially. So we We reached out to family, and my daughter moved here from Georgia. My nephews moved here from Wisconsin. So we had people from all over who were willing to travel and come and help
Oh,
support us. And they've definitely been great assets to our company. We've hired additional employees. So it's just catapulted from a concept of what we wanted to do to us just moving forward and being able to foster growth in our industry. When we came to Ohio, there was 4 J Dogs in Ohio. There are now, I think, 12 J Dogs all over Ohio. From Cleveland, from Cleveland all the way to Cincinnati, we have them everywhere.
How many
All
of
the way
those
down
do
to
you own?
3. I own 3 J Dogs
that is
here.
awesome.
So we've
That is
spanned from
awesome.
Pataskaville, and then we have Center City, Columbus.
Awesome.
That is terrific. So, how has failure or an apparent failure set you up? And
Our
do you
favorite
have a
failure,
favorite
someone
failure?
stole the catalytic converters off of both of our vehicles at the same time at Christmas. It was horrible. And so we were
Oh
set up
my
to do some
gosh.
major construction jobs during the holiday season because that's when our construction work amps up. And we came in and they stole, and we had there's cat clamp systems that protect the catalytic converters. Like, it's a steel system that you actually put around. They took their time and sawed the systems off of the trucks and took the catalytic converters. And each truck has 2 catalytic converters. It ended up costing us about $9,000 per truck to have
Oh my God.
repaired.
Dang.
That sucks so bad.
Wow. How did that set you up for success? Did you learn anything from that?
We learned to put up cameras at our warehouse where our trucks were at
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
to make sure
Yeah.
that we have, some type of security over there. And we weren't the only ones who were hit at that warehouse. There were about 5
Mm.
other businesses hit the same night. And
Oh
so,
Ew.
gosh.
yeah, we collaborated, and everyone has their cameras on every part of that whole site. So there are cameras
Oh,
everywhere.
yeah. Too
Wow.
bad you didn't do it before then,
Yeah,
huh?
they push the cat clamps and they're indestructible. And and I ended up having to have a conversation with the company because it was $1,000 investment, and they were like, "Oh, no
Yeah.
one can steal it off the." And I'm like, "I have pictures where they
Somebody
sawed it
did.
off. They literally got
Yeah.
it off."
Oh my gosh.
But we got to spend Christmas with our families. It didn't really affect us because we did have, because I do give out bonuses at the holidays. So it was like, hey, this is just opportunity for you guys to spend more time with family. We were able to pay them throughout the holiday season, so it was still beneficial because we were still able to keep our employees working and getting some work done.
Well, that's
That's
good.
good. Yeah. What is one thing that you'll never do again?
One thing that I won't say that I won't do it again. However, I will vet marketing properly
Okay.
because I had to understand, and something that I had to learn is that everybody is in business. So some people will sell you a dream as to they can get you these great fortunes and this marketing and all these existential things, and they're in business to make money. I have to properly vet organizations who I'm willing to work with. One was a school. I thought that I was working with the athletic director because I wanted to donate it to some of the schools in our local areas. And I was approached by a marketing company that said, "Hey, we're with the school. We want you to put up some banners with the school, and you can come out to all the events for free." And so we wrote a check for $3,000. And we went to the first event. We had t-shirts and everything that they sent us. We went out to the school, and we didn't see any of our marketing material. And so I went to I pulled the athletic director and I said, "Hey, I'm from J-Dog Junk Removal Hauling. We paid money for your organization to do t-shirts for the kids and raise money for the team." And they were like, "Well, we received a box a couple months ago, but we didn't know what it was, and we didn't know who it was from." And so I said, "You're not working with this company XYZ?" And they're like, "No, we don't even
Oh
know."
no.
And so I reached out to the company. I said, hey, we paid you guys $3,000. You were supposed to give that money to the school. And they were like, we're a marketing company and we did send stuff to the school. And I said, okay, how much of the $3,000 that we sent to you guys actually went to the school? $75. I was livid. I said, you have 48 hours to send my money back, or my lawyer will be giving you guys a call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I said, you guys told me you worked directly with the school and you did not. You were a marketing firm. The school didn't even know that you sent something to them. And the athletic directors, she's like, well, we received a phone call from them about 6 months ago saying that they were sending us some stuff to the school. We didn't know what it was. We didn't know why. We got the box. We never opened it. They finally opened up the box in front of me. And it was all of the marketing things that they were supposed to put. And she's like, we did not agree to this from them.
Oh my gosh.
And they literally, and so now when I get those phone calls about supporting schools, okay, are you directly with the school? Are you the athletic director? Are you the principal? Are you someone
Yeah.
specifically affiliated that I can call the school and say, do you know this person? Because that was disappointing and disheartening because we wanted the money to go to those kids and it didn't. So that's one of those things, is like properly vetting who you deal with as far as marketing.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great advice. Wow.
What would you say your proudest accomplishment is?
My proudest accomplishment is getting to have our store and our start in Pickerington. And I say this all the time at every event that I go to, because that was life changing for us, because we didn't know where we were going, we didn't know where to start, and we were welcomed with open arms. And it was like, this is the blessing that we needed, because we didn't know. I'm not from Columbus, I'm from Cleveland. I've been traveling all over the world, and this is where we landed, in Columbus. And the first place that we looked at for opening up a building or a business was Pickerington, and it was the first place that welcomed us. And we went to several other, including Columbus, and they were kind of, well, we don't have time. No one had time for us. And it was getting to be disheartening. But when we got to Pickerington, it was just like, yeah, come on in. The door's already open. Come on. What would you stand outside for?
That's awesome to hear.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. And I showed you that building that you're in right now, and then somebody else went in there, and then less than a year later, you got in.
Oh, is
Exactly.
that right? Is that where that candle place was?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And I
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm
and
glad that you got in there. I love that location.
he was just
Oh,
like,
she's
it's
freaking.
yours. If you want it, it's yours. And I was just like, hey, I reached
Yeah.
a year ago about that place. And yeah, I want to know
Right.
if it's still available. He's like, if you want it, it's yours. And I was like, I wonder if Janice got to him.
Woo. That's right. Hey, Lily, like junk calling and what you do with J Dog can be really physically demanding. How do you build a team that shares your passion and your work ethic for that line of work?
You know what? It's about fun. And it's the weirdest thing, because people think of junk hauling. They're thinking like, oh my God, it's a brutal job. We are on a treasure hunt. And it's just to find the coolest stuff. If it's
Yeah.
vases that we haven't seen in forever, or if it's just little trinkets or little things, like, until I started junk hauling, I didn't even know about Longburger baskets. I had no idea what that was until we started
Yep.
junk hauling, because my guys brought some to the warehouse. And then a customer came into the store and she's, I'll buy all your baskets except that one. I'm like, what's wrong with this one? It's a gorgeous basket. She's, that's a Longburger. It's expensive. And I'm like, wait, what? And I called my guys and they're like, yeah, we have 40 of them over here. Didn't know about the building that was made. So it's like learning. It's awesome because you find so many different things, vintage things, and I'm
Yeah.
one of those very eclectic people. So I collect things. I collect cameras and recorders and all kinds of things. So if you see our warehouse, there's a whole wall of just like old Bell and Howell cameras and recorders and old fashioned telephones and things that a Betamax, like things that people don't even have or wouldn't even know what they were. And
Do
it's
you
just
have any old like projectors, like that projected slides on the wall?
I do. I absolutely have one. I have two of them, and they're on the top shelf of. I have one
I
in,
love those.
and one is in a like blue shade, and they brought it to me in the original
You,
boxes and everything.
oh
Wow.
wow.
What would you say is the most interesting or valuable thing that you found in your hauls?
The most interesting thing I found was a a wire recorder. Had no idea what a wire recorder was. It is a huge machine. It looks like it's inside of a suitcase, and it has spools of wire, but they're recordings. And
Hmm.
it looks like one of those old projectors that you open up flat side, and it has this little machine and wire, and you feed the wire into it, and it actually has recordings on there. The gentleman we got it from, his
Huh.
dad was
Wow.
a pastor, and so we actually turned it on and played it, and it was actually playing his recordings from church. And I was like, that is the coolest thing. And I actually have one of the other guys who he has a warehouse across from us, and hey, I want to see that recorder. He's like, don't get rid of it. I really want to see it. And I think it's like from the 20s or 30s. And I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. On the other
So
side,
that predated maybe would that predated like the reel to reels, the big reel to reel tape players? Yeah. Yeah.
it's one of those really cool
Cool.
ones. And then on the other side of that, Beanie Babies. Those are
Beanie babies.
Beanie Babies, yes. We had a customer give us a container of Beanie Babies. And I actually have it. It's in my closet. And we were bored when this is after our catalytic converters were stolen. And we happened to be sitting in the warehouse. And I said, hey, let's start looking at these Beanie Babies to see what we have. And so we started looking at the Beanie Babies. We started finding some that were worth $200, $300, $400 a piece. And it's a huge basket. Then we came across one. It was a little red pig. And we looked it up. And it was worth $28,000. I was like, holy crap. And
What?
then we're like,
You're kidding.
wait a minute. He's like, yeah, my wife used to collect these things and she left all of it in storage unit. You guys can have it. So we started looking up all of them. So we found six of the rarest Beanie Babies. So we have one that's worth $40,000,
Oh.
one that's worth $28,000. I think two of them are worth like $15,000 a piece. And I'm like, I'm not selling these. I'm keeping them because, like, holy crap.
Yeah.
I was like, holy crap. And they're all with the new tag. Because some of them they're rare because some of them have a misspelled name, or the tag is put on upside down, or they have something like on their cloth tag or something there, or a specific color that they only made one time. And I was like, I cannot believe. And they'd been sitting in our warehouse for 6 months. But I said, I'm going to get these put in a
Okay.
cool containers and put them on display so that people can see that we actually have
Yeah.
they would actually see that we have these. It was like, this is the craziest thing ever.
Wow.
Your next business is going to be like a museum.
Right. That's what makes junk hauling so much fun, is that you find things that you don't expect, and then you have these things sitting in your warehouse and you just start exploring. It's like a treasure hunt.
So
Wow.
tell me more about how you morphed into the idea of the resale shop and like how those two businesses complement each other. Go into more of that.
Absolutely. So what we started running into is hoarder houses.
Knows about
We
that.
weren't running into the hoarder houses where it was just overran with the bad things. We were running into hoarders who were shopaholics, and everything has tags on it. And so we started getting back to the warehouse, and we're like, what do we do with all these things that have tags on it? So we reached out to one of our counterparts who also has a thrift store in Maryland, and she made, I think, $50,000 last month on resale. And she's like, Lillie, you need to start doing resale. We started, and I said, what websites to use? And this is one of the great things about JDog, is that we get on calls once a month and we talk about the things that we found and the things we're exploring, and how if we've had those ideas of doing additional businesses and stuff. So she's, hey, these are the websites I use. I use Macari, I use Poshmark, I use Facebook Marketplace, I use OfferUp, I use eBay. So she's like, just get on each one of those platforms and start posting the things that you find that are new. Even the beanie babies. She told me you should put those beanie babies up there and get that money. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna hold on to them for a little while. But the clothes,
Oh,
that's one
wow.
of the things. Like, I'm at 3 out of 4 days of the week, I'm at the post office shipping shoes and
Oh,
clothes and sweaters and cardigans and hats and jewelry and things like that from the store, because I put it in the store, but I also post it online. And so I always have someone making me an offer
Oh,
on
yeah.
these things, and especially if they have the original tags. That's the blessing with that, is with these hoarder houses or the shopaholic hoarders, which are my favorite. You could find things that someone somewhere overseas may want, and you could sell it for a good profit. I had some vases that I came across. They were cobalt blue. Don't know very much about cobalt blue. It's a really pretty blue. And a lady came in, and her sister had saw them online, and she happened to be in the area. She came in and bought all of the cobalt blue glasses, vases, plates, everything for her sister. And she's like, yeah, I'm just going to fly and take it to her this weekend. Holy,
wow.
okay. So a lot of
That's a pretty great business, though.
it,
That's pretty great
Yeah.
business. Like you're people are paying you to haul their junk away, and then you're selling their junk and making more money. That's
Yeah.
just an awesome
yes,
concept.
Rags to
yes.
riches.
And we actually had a gentleman who came in. His wife had passed away, and she worked at the Longburger facility. She worked there for years. I think she said 30 years she worked there, and she had a collection of Longburger baskets. And before she passed, I think he said the year before she passed away, she gave them all away and sold everything. And so after she passed away, his new hobby is trying to find all of the baskets that she had. So he comes into my store at least once a month to see if we have any new ones. He purchased one, and it wasn't a
Because
lot.
they put their initials on the bottom, the ones that they
Yes,
made.
and so he
Oh,
liked
Yes.
those. And every time he comes in, he's, "What do you have?" And I'm like, and I'll show him all the baskets, and he'll look through them. He's like, "No, I already have this one, or I have that one." He's, but if you see any, make sure you call me. And I, every other week, he's coming in there and he's looking for those baskets. So it's really cool. And we have, it's a blessing just being there. I have some gentlemen, like my husband, a lot of people know he's diabetic and he's been sick. And so there's a gentleman who walks. He walks from the high school and he walks all the way to the library and back every other day. And he comes into the store, he sits down on the couch, and I give him a bottle of water. I check his blood, his sugar level with him. I make sure it's, and then
Aw.
he'll, okay, I'll see you in a couple days. And he does it every day. And he knows I'm there. So he'll come in, he'll sit there. So that's the blessing of where I am, is that I'm not outside of the foot traffic. It's just the pleasantry of having people come in. And that's the reason that couch is there. Is just come in, sit down. You don't have to buy anything. And my expectation is not that you come in and buy a bunch of things. You can come in, hang out with us, have a seat. Maybe your wife is at the salon next door or over at the other shops or walking around in downtown. Just come in, hang out with us, have a bottle of water. It's on us. Just come hang out with us.
I love that.
you're
I
making
love that.
it like a TV show, like Sweet Magnolias or Gilmore Girls or something with the
Come hang.
hometown
Yeah,
feel.
just come hang out. And people love, they absolutely love it. I think that's the best in
Yeah,
here. So people are like, how much is this cup? $1. You're only selling this for, yes, $1. If you take it,
because we got paid to put it
yeah,
here.
come and
Yeah.
hang out with us. That's all.
Speaking of that, the like a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners are struggling with pricing of their products and your services. How do you determine the pricing structure of your items in your shop?
We do search on eBay. We search the different websites. We go on Google. Google Lens is one of those items where you just take a picture of the item and it'll pull it up, or it'll pull up similar items, and it'll give you the high and low price ranges of those items. We usually market or price our products right in between that. And then if we have Monday Madness or Thursday Thrifty, where you can get 20% or 30%, or if you come in on Saturdays, it's BOGO for different things. So We price it right in the middle, which we call the sweet spot, but we are always up to negotiate the price down because, quite honestly, we got it for free. We're not trying to become billionaires off of a thrift store, but we do want to rehome this stuff and not see it going to
Yeah.
the refuge site. We don't want it to go there. So we'd rather,
Yeah.
sell it for $1 or 50 cents as opposed to throwing it in the garbage dump.
Going in the garbage. Yeah. Yeah. So building your brand is crucial for a business. How have you established your brand identity and how has it helped you stand out in a really maybe competitive market? Do you find the resale business is competitive?
I don't find it to be competitive because I'm not trying to compete. And I think that's the biggest thing about it. We do handwritten letters to our customers. So we typed up, I think it was like 5,000 letters introducing ourselves to the community. And we just went online and purchased the address list and we sent letters to everyone saying, hey, come by, say hi, hang out with us. You don't have to purchase anything. You don't have to, because everything right now is spend money, buy, and the economy is crazy. And some people just want that hometown effect where their pockets aren't getting emptied out every time they go somewhere. And if you come in one day, and I tell people, if you come in, and this is my mantra for shopping and to not buy on the impulse, if I go in a store and it's there, I wait 30 days. I come back. If it's still there, it's meant for me to have. And so I tell customers, if you come in and you see something you like and you don't feel like you can get it right now, if you come back in 30 days and it's still here, I will cut the price in half for you so that you can have it because you
Oh,
want it. And we get a lot of families with a lot of kids and we have a lot of cool stuff in there. And so it's just explore. It's a treasure hunt for everybody. So we're a true mercantile. We tell people that we're a true market. We have a little bit of everything. So you just have to find your sweet spot in our store.
I love it. And I love like the hometown feel that you are promoting there because I have the same thing here at my shop at the Humble Crate where sometimes people just come in to
Mm-hmm.
chat. And I love
Yep.
that.
And it's the welcoming feeling. And I do have a lot of people who will come down, they'll look around and they'll say, oh, we're going to be back, or I'm going to bring my wife back, or I'm going to bring my kids back, or I'm going to bring my entire family back. I had a gentleman,
Yeah.
my wife is going to kill me because she doesn't know I'm here, but I'm going to bring her back today. And I'm like, absolutely. I'll put them behind the counter and I will act like it's a surprise that I just put them out when you get here. He's cool.
That's great. So, marketing plays a vital role in business success. What are some of the most effective marketing strategies you've used to attract customers to both your junk hauling and your resale shop?
Word of mouth. We want people to know that we are veterans, we are oriented, and we go above and beyond, especially with the junk hauling, to ensure that our satisfied, because a lot of the junk haulers, they come in, say for instance you do a garage, they'll come in, they'll just take the items you want and they leave. So we go in, we take the items you want, we're going to clean the area, we're going to ask you, hey, do you have something in the house that you want moved here, do you want us to move anything upstairs? We give a little bit of extra to families because sometimes they don't have someone to do that stuff for them. We actually have a lot of elderly customers who, I have a young lady, Miss Edna, and I love her to death. Her husband passed away, and we moved some furniture for her, but we call her once a month. And I'll send my guys if they're in the area, they'll go out and visit with her. She just wants to talk. She doesn't have anybody to talk to. So my guys will go out there, hang out with her, move stuff around in her house, and we don't charge her because it's more important that we foster relationships as opposed to just trying to get a buck out of a person. So this is how the word of mouth has spread the business mantra for J Dog and for Rags to Riches around. Oh, you guys do J Dog, right? Yeah. Oh wow, you have a store? Oh, we have to come over there and see what you have at the store because maybe you're selling some of my stuff. I've had a customer say that. Maybe you're going to sell some of my stuff out there. Maybe I'll get to see someone buy some of my stuff. And it's, yeah, maybe you will.
Or maybe
I
I'll buy
love
it
that.
back.
Yeah, it'll be graciously priced.
As your businesses have grown, what systems or processes have you implemented to maintain efficiency and high quality service?
We try to rotate the things that we have in the shop. We try to rotate at least once a week, moving things to the front, bringing in new products all the time, and just asking customers. One thing that I do diligently is I ask the customers, hey, is there something that you haven't found in the store that you would like to see? because you won't know what a customer wants unless you ask them, right? And so they come in, they're optimistic about what they're shopping for, but at the same time, if we have we can procure some things. Like I said, we have a wholesaler. So I used to go on my wholesale site and people were like, we had, what was the event that we just had? I think it was a 4th of July event or something we had in the evening. I think it was at Combustion. And people were bringing all their kids out. And so once it gets dark, it's the kids are out there playing and stuff. So I bought a basket of little watches that light up for $1. They're like,
Oh.
$1 watches. And so I was at the table and I was selling them to people for $1. And I said, if it's lighting up, it's your kid. It's just being something that can be useful. And people loved it. They were like, oh, these are so cool. Hey, they spit the fidget spinners and the little watches, they light up and they have the little fidget spinner on top. I was like, it'll keep them busy for hours. And having the bubble machine out there, something that they can run through and play. And I said, kids bring parents who bring money. So I was like, true. Kids bring parents, bring money. So I was like, I'm going to take out the things, the bubbles. I'm going to take out the cotton candy. I'm going to take out the little watches and the little toys and stickers. And as the kids come in, the parents are going to come in and then they're going to start asking those questions about J-Dog and they're going to ask questions about Rags to Riches. And we're going to give them the information right there on the spot and say, hey, we have a special going on next week, or the PVA. I always give out the PVA card. I love that thing because people are like, oh, these are all the every customer that comes in the store gets a PVA card.
This
Yes.
one.
Okay. I was like,
Yep.
what's a PVA card? It's just a list of events
It's a
going
list
on?
of events that are going on in the village.
Okay.
We print this every year, and then the village PVA members are on the other
I
side.
give out
Awesome.
the maps of the community. I give out all kinds of stuff, and people just love it. And I'm like, eventually, I think I'm running out of the PVA cards, so I'll probably come and get some more. But customers,
I've got like a few hundred here.
so yeah, it's just part of being in a community. So the marketing is just word of mouth, being pleasant to people, being welcoming to people, just inviting them into your space without obligation, and that's the best part of having that business there.
Yeah. Lillie, networking and partnerships can open up new opportunities for a business. How have you leveraged networking to expand your customer base and to find valuable partnerships?
Oh, wow. So networking has just been the basis for pretty much everything I do, because I learned years ago that when you go into networking, you don't go in, I'm not going in to sell you something. I'm going in to purchase. And that's the concept that I go into. I want to learn about your business. Yes, I run Rags to Riches and J-Dog, but I want to know what you do. I want to know how I can promote your business as a part of my business. What can I do to support what you're doing that will help bring in more business to my company? Because if you're an attorney and you're like, hey, I deal with estate sales. Hey, what areas do you work in? What's your niche that you're working in? How to facilitate your customer service? How do you do all these things? And then now I'm learning about you so that I can learn how it would, one, benefit my business, but how my business could benefit yours, because everyone can't afford an estate clean out. Everyone can't afford. We have families that are coming in from all over the country because their aunt or uncle or mom or dad or someone passed away in their family, and they have 24 hours to empty out a house. And so when you're talking to people, you're just learning about their businesses. Hey, I'm going to give you some cards, but I want your cards so that when I have customers who say I have X, Y, and Z going on in my life, I can say, hey, here's a lawyer. Here's a good architect. Here's a good doctor. Here's a good anyone. So I use it as a way of learning about other businesses, not necessarily promoting mine.
Yeah. So owning a business and entrepreneurship often involves risk taking. Can you share a moment where taking a calculated risk paid off and helped propel your business forward?
Ooh, calculated risk. I take risk all the time. I would say sending the letters out to people because I didn't know how that would formulate into business, and how I never knew the concept. Someone told me to say, hey, send individual letters to the people in your area. Introduce yourself. Just tell them you're a veteran. Tell them a little bit about what you're trying to do without the expectation of them coming in to do business with you. And the way I saw it pay off was a year after we sent out letters, we actually had a lady contact us. It's like, hey, I received this letter from you guys about a year ago, and I wanted service. And I was just like, wow. Like that,
She must have kept the
she kept the
letter.
letter for a whole year before she called us.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it was just take the risk, go ahead and spend it. And I won't say, I believe that the concept of fear is ingrained in everything you do, and you've already failed if you don't try. And so I'll question myself about something and I'll go, you know what? Like opening up the store. I was like, yeah, he said I could have the store, but am I ready to do it? And then, and that was a calculated risk because I had no furniture. I had inventory. I had no furniture. I had no racks. I had no shelves. I had nothing. The week
Yeah.
after I talked to him about opening up the store, a lady called for 3 storage unit cleanouts, and she was the owner of Mascots and More, which was based in Pickerington. She,
Yes, that's where
Oh
I used to
yeah.
get my
I
shirts
know.
yep,
printed. Yes.
she gave
Yeah.
us all of our counters, all of the racks that are in our store, all of the furniture, everything that we put up in that store came from her storage units.
That is
And
Wow.
awesome. That is
I
awesome.
couldn't believe it when my guys, they were like, yeah, there was a lady who, she has a storage unit out in Pickerington and she used to own a store here, and she said that they moved away to Florida and she just wants it all gone. She doesn't want any of it. She doesn't care what we do with it. And when I got to the warehouse, I was like, wait, like this can't be real. Like this cannot be real. Like I just,
It was just meant to be. It was meant to be.
God is telling me that I needed to do this because I was terrified. I was like, I have no racks. I have nowhere to start. I don't know what to do. I have all this stuff and I don't know where to put it. And she gave us everything to open our doors. And like it was a
Wow.
scrambling because that day we were scrambling. What the day before is when they brought all the furniture in. And we just,
Was that March 9th on your
yes, that
birthday before
the
the shop
day
hunt?
before is when they brought all that stuff into the store. I had to put everything together.
Oh my
We were there
gosh.
until I think about 4 in the morning, putting everything together and hanging clothes and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh.
This is happening. This is
I was
happening.
like,
Do you believe in the power of manifestation?
I believe in manifestation because it's
Yes.
a run. I call it a living will because it's the will to continue to
Oh,
go, whether or not things are going good for you or bad for you. Your stress level's high, you're panicking, all of these things, but you still have the drive to keep pushing through. So you just manifest. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I do the. It's gonna happen. So want because like I said a year ago when I was turned down for that shop, I was just like, you know what, we're just gonna keep looking. We're just gonna, it's one door closes, another one opens. We're just gonna keep looking. And then when I was at
Yeah. And then it came
yeah,
right back to you, the exact same
exact
place,
same
the exact
street
location.
park at the chamber, and I looked across just like, wait, it can't be. And I was like, I'm gonna call Janice really quick. And when I called you and you were like, yep, it is. And I was like, he should just gave it to me when I asked for it. I said, but it's time and place for everything, and that wasn't our time, and now it is.
Exactly. Lily, what's one of the best or the most worthwhile investments you've ever made?
One of the best, the most worthwhile investments, honestly, is just donating my time. It's because I love being involved. And if I can't do anything else, I just want to be a part. I tell people all the time I'm a background person. Just put me in the background and just tell me what you need and I'm going to execute. I don't want to be in the forefront of anything, but I just want to be a part of seeing something progress. And so being in the Lions Club and being in the PVA, being in all the different organizations that I'm in, I don't do it because I want to be in the
Mhm.
forefront because I will hide in the back. And they tell me I win awards and I'm like, so can you just send it to me in the mail? Do I have to come get it?
so when you won Pickerington Chamber New Business of the Year, that made you pretty
Yes.
uncomfortable, huh?
I was,
Yes.
oh my gosh. And then I ended up getting one from, what is it? Not the Secretary of State, the congressional, something from for Ohio. They sent me a huge award in the mail last week. And I was just like, wait, what?
What? Then they didn't make you get up and talk
What?
about it,
No,
huh?
I was like, it's scary. I mean, it's just, if I can see something through nutrition to be successful or be a part of something that's successful or that's gonna be able to benefit someone else, I'll be a part of it. I don't need to be acknowledged for it. I just want to be a part of it. That's kind of it. And
Your acceptance speech was very gracious and humble, and I loved it.
like I said,
And it was very well deserved.
Pickerington, if there's anything that I'm truthful about, it's that the support systems that are there, they make you want to be more involved. If I could be
Mhm.
involved in everything out there, I would. Just because it's like you and I, as an African American, we don't get invited to the party all the time. But when you are invited to the party and they're like, sit down, your plate's been sitting here for an hour, what are you waiting on? And you're just like, hey, why aren't you a part of this? Why, if you, especially when you have something to bring to the table, to be able to support and give back to the community and not be have these expectations. Like I do therapy at the high school. A lot of people don't know. Some people do know that I do therapy over there. But those kids come in my store all the time.
Yeah.
And hi, Miss Lillie. And because when you're a therapist, there are ethical things you can't acknowledge students. You can't acknowledge your client in public. If they acknowledge you first, then you can speak to them. But other than that, you are cut off from saying anything to them. So when they come in the store and they bring the crowd of friends and their families and they're like, hey, this is my therapist. And I'm like, you're comfortable? I'm okay with that. And knowing the principals, knowing
It's
the
awesome.
counselors at the school, being a part of something and just being able to make a difference and making people smile and work through the life, because that's just what we're here for. It's just to be a part of that.
With the experience you've gained along the way, what advice would you give to someone looking to start their own business, like yours or
For
otherwise?
any business, learn your craft and then try to learn everyone else's craft, because there's always a benefit to knowing what someone else and being able to utilize it to strengthen your knowledge and your abilities. Because even opening up a store, I go down to the humble crate to look around. Like, oh, she's got these kind of stuff. Oh, she's
Yeah,
got,
got to
where she get
spy.
those from? We're going over to look at the realtor's office or talking to realtors about things that their customers want and things that their customers need, or talking to the insurance companies. And these are what we're dealing with, house fires, and this is what we're dealing with. So you learn your craft by understanding and learning the craft of others. And that way you ingrain yourself into developing yours to a better standard. So not only you, if insurance company calls me and say, "Hey, we had a customer who has a fire, they don't have anything." Okay, I can go over to my warehouse. And what sizes are you looking for? Do you need kids clothes? Do you need toys? Do you need bath stuff? Do you need pictures? Whatever. What do you need where I can help this family start over and it not be so rough for them? It's just learning your craft.
That's great
I
advice.
love that. I love that.
Do you ever hear any bad recommendations in your profession?
I take everything with a grain of salt. I'll say that. Is that I don't think I've gotten any bad recommendations because I am that optimistic person. What's the worst that can happen? I'm going to be told no or I'm going to fail. I'm going to try it anyway because either way I learned something, right? So it's just, there's no way to fail when you're optimistic about it. It's like you can't expect to have the best case scenario for everything that you do. You have to go into it with an open thought of this might turn into a crap show, but I'm gonna push all the way through to the end, and it's gonna be the happiest crap show I go through.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. What do you envision the future for your business? Where do you see yourself in 5
In
years?
5 years, I'm actually looking to possibly open up more Rags to Riches locations and just have them in at least one in each one of our territories as a starting point, and then to be able to pass it off for my children, to give them something where they can learn. They love learning from me. They tell me all the time, Mom, we love learning from you, because even when we're having the bad times or we're doing something that we shouldn't be doing, you always give us the best case scenario. And being able to just grow in the process, being able to teach and train others to do the same thing that you do. And so that's one of the things that I'm I want to work with the city on, and I talked to him last week about, is helping develop a youth business program, to where for summer jobs, instead of the kids going out and just working and doing a summer job, they're learning different concepts. Put them in some lawyer offices, put them in some accounting offices, put them in
Yeah,
offices, let them learn that there are technical jobs and there are things out there that they can do to launch their careers if they want to start a business. I want to be able to be, and I think I talked to the president of the chamber, and I talked to her about being an angel investor and maybe doing some scholarships throughout the year, doing some business, to having a competition for students who want to be entrepreneurs, to help them launch their.
it's funny that yeah, it's funny that you said that, because that I'm going to be the chair for the chamber next year, and that is one of my visions, is to explore promoting junior
Mhm.
entrepreneurs. So we'll have to hook up
Oh,
on that.
absolutely, absolutely.
I know. Manifestation, karma, all that stuff. Yeah, I love that idea. As soon as you said that, I was like, yeah, that's in my head
Mhm.
too. I've got junior entrepreneurs here in my shop. Lily, what motivates you to work hard?
Having fun. And that I think that's a big motivation, is being able to have fun at something you do, because you always hear about a person having a passion. You have a passion for what you do. You have to have a passion. You have to have fun. I don't ever want to get up a day and go to my shop or go to any business that I have and be miserable in it, and dread getting up and going to work with my employees and things like that. It's just finding a way to have fun. Even if I turn on the music and sit the music outside of the door and invite people in to just hang out, or not necessarily doing something that will promote the business, but just being a part of something. It's just fun. It's the concept of fun just leads me everywhere.
I love that. What's the first step that you take to achieve a goal?
Actualizing it. I have to actualize the goal, because if it's not real to me, then I'm not going to pursue it. I'm not going to wholeheartedly do it. I'm going to procrastinate. So I have to actually write it down. You have to write it down and visualize it. Put it up on a board, put it up on the wall, put it up on the mirror, and see it every day. Even if you don't feel ready
Yep.
for it, keep looking at it. Keep looking at it and keep saying it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I said for years, I'm going to have a business. I
Mhm.
don't know what it's going to be. I'm going to have a business. And that was one of the things that when I went to school, I initially went for psychology, then I went for nursing, and then I got bored with everything. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to get a business degree. And my mom was like, why business? I said, because you could do any business. But if you had a business degree, it doesn't matter what you do, right?
Mhm.
And so she's, makes sense. So the business degree was what I went for first. And after that, I was like, I can do pretty much any business I want. So I started. Oh,
Mom knows best. Mom knows best.
absolutely. The rags to riches and the J Dog, they weren't something that I was looking for. It was placed in front of me, and it was, you know what? This is, when it called me, I was like, this is what's calling me. This is what I want to do. I didn't want to have a boutique or anything like that. I was just like, I just want to have something that's fun. It's cool. I'm a thrifty person. I grew up with my dad taking me to half day Mondays at the thrift store every week. And so I always grew up with going to the thrift
That's great.
store. So it was like, hey, why wouldn't you have a thrift store?
I love it. I love
I,
that.
what is the book or books that you've given most as a gift, or the book that has impacted you most in your life?
The book that has impacted me the most is Becoming Michelle Obama. And it's the funniest thing is that her book is awesome because she talks about her failures and how she just definitively said, yeah, this is a hurdle, but I'm going to push through it. And it's just progressing through things, and not, like I said, I have the expectation that you can't always win, but you have to keep going. And so reading that book made me understand that I don't have to always be the best at everything. I don't always have to meet these specific standards or these high standards and everything. You can be average. It's okay to be average. And you're still going to get, and in college, they'll
Yep.
say, what is it? C's get degrees. And so I use that as business. You don't have to be the best. You don't have to be 100% every day in every way to be successful. Your success is determined by you. What do you deem as your successful? My successfulness is, hey, I get up every day and I go to work. You know, I can drive. I, have, the ability to cook. That's my success. I don't have to, win. That's why I say I hide when it's, people are trying to give me awards and things like that, because I'm like, I don't need those things. I'm successful in just being who I am and having that happy spirit and just being able to be there in the moment. So.
Yeah, I wish everyone felt like that, right?
Yeah.
Wish I
Yeah.
did.
Lillie, do you have a purchase of $100 or less that has most positively impacted your life in the last 6 months or recent memory?
Yes,
A purchase of $100 or
purchased. It is a journal for fitness, a fitness journal, because I go to the gym every day, but I don't have a rhyme or reason for what I do at the gym. And I said, time for
Oh,
me to start actualizing what I do, start thinking about it in more of a concept of gains. And I try to keep myself busy.
Lillie, before you leave, tell us how we can get a hold of you or how we can find you.
Sure. So you can reach us at r2r.com. And we also are located at 24 West
Wait, 2400 West. What?
no, 24 West Columbus
Street, Pickering,
in Pickerington.
and r2rohio.
Okay, so r2rohio.com and 24 West Columbus Street in Pickerington.
Yes.
And JDog?
JDog is www.jdog.com.
Thank you so much, Lillie Williams, for joining us. It was so great to learn more about you. And thank you for listening to Cosmos and Commerce. If you would like to be a guest, you can email Janice and I at guest@cosmosandcommerce. Or if you have any questions, you can also email us there. And we would love to hear from you. Have a great day.
See you next time.